Welcome back to the BetUS house, everybody. We got Robbie, we got Tyler, we got me, yours truly, Jim. How are we doing today, everybody? How are you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. Another day, our final day, unfortunately, but we're but we're going to lead things off with an absolute bang.
Yes.
Robbie, what are we talking about today?
We're talking World Series favorites in 2024. But the offseason is still young, boys, and there's still some free agents out there. But there was a little bit of news on Garrett Cole today, so that could be something when it comes to the Yankees odds for this coming year. So we'll dive into that tonight.
Yes.
Wardy, how are you feeling going in to talking about what some World Series odds for 2024?
Considering my New York Metropolitans have as good of a shot as any, feeling decent. I'm excited for the conversation. JD Martinez landing Queens already, all right? Make sure to check out that video on WardyNYM in case you guys haven't already, for my Mets fans out there. But also, again, shout out to BetUS. For those that don't know, just briefly, they have made this trip possible. We are in Port St. Lucie. We've been attending Mets Clover Park games. We've been interviewing you, the fans, coming out with awesome short content, going over unders and various predictions for MLB here paired with BetUS. And now at the BetUS house, we have not only myself, but fellow of your favorite amazing creators here. And we've just had so much fun breaking all things down with the BetUS odds. And you guys have a great chance to get in on the action today. If, in fact, you're into betting, again, make sure you do it responsibly, of course, by clicking the link either in the description on either of our live shows or scanning that beautiful little QR code. That way you two get a 125% bonus with your first, not one, not two, but 3 deposits. That easy to work with for all your sports betting needs. And we're getting into a big discussion on this one. Division winners, World Series, who's going to take it? Let's see how right or wrong we are. Let's have fun with this one.
Let's get right into this because there has been some, ground-shaking news with the New York Yankees over the last 24 hours with this Garrett Cole situation. The New York Yankees right now are still the favorites for the American League East at plus 160. I cannot imagine that is going to continue. I'm not taking the Yankees as the favorite. I was looking for reasons to go Baltimore in the first place, but with this news on Cole and Judge, I am completely out on the Yankees now. You guys feeling any different?
Yeah, without your ace, without your stud, they're in trouble. Unless they can go make a move for someone like Dylan Cease or Snell, they're in big trouble. What do you think?
I think even if they make a move for someone like a Cease or a Snell, you still need to find out exactly how they're going to transition to New York, something that we don't know for either player. And that, again, is in the assumption that they go out and land them, which is something that the Yanks, we know, at times have pulled back on desperation. Will we see that more with Juan Soto in the fold? You'd have to wonder, right? But I think for anyone that, again, is interested in doing your future betting, get in on this right now with what the current odds are, especially for the Baltimore Orioles.
Yep.
Easy.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you. So you've got the Yankees at plus 160. Next is the Orioles at plus 200. Then the Blue Jays at plus 400. Is it the pivot? Is it an easy pivot to the Orioles?
I think it's a very easy pivot to the Orioles. I was going to pick them regardless, if I'm being quite frank. I love this O's team so much. I have so many great things to say about them, led by Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, so many key pieces on that team. And now they have a new ace in town, unlike what the Yanks are potentially losing, and Corbin Burns. So to have him frontline your rotation and all the pieces that they have, so much great young talent that is just kicking out the door to really break out. Jackson Holiday, who I know you have plenty to say about, Jim. It's really hard to go against the O's right now at plus 200 odds. I think you'd be silly not to, because I have a feeling that line's likely going to change in the next 24 to 48 hours. Right. So, again, this is your time to pounce, again, for either sports bettors or, again, if you just like to follow on and share your predictions, it would be silly, in my opinion, to not look at the O's as a really nice pick here.
Did you have something?
I was going to go to the National League East. Do you have anything else on AL East?
I just wanted to say one more advantage I think the Orioles have is when it comes trade deadline time, they have more prospects that they could deal away. Whereas the Yankees, it seems like the only guy they got is Spencer Jones, and they don't seem to want to give him up. So the Orioles, they're definitely in the driver's seat right now, in my opinion. Good all-around team, more pitching, an actual stud ace. Yeah, got to go with the Orioles, in my opinion, right now.
Good point. Let's go to the National League East, and the Braves are the favorite at minus 245. The Phillies are right there. Not right there. It's not right there, but they are the next at plus 300. Then the Mets, Marlins, and Nats are all plus 1,000 or worse. You've got to go, Robbie, you first. You got to go Braves here. The Phillies are going to be great, but you have to have so many things that you can't predict go wrong for the Braves to not go Atlanta.
Yeah, I think the Phillies are very talented, but I think the Braves are just a deeper team, right? The offense, don't get me wrong, the Phillies, they got bats too, right? They just showed in the playoffs this past year what they can do. But if we're talking just straight division, not even talking about the playoffs, then yeah, I'm totally going with the Braves. They have a deeper pitching staff overall, in my opinion. You got some great arms in that bullpen. I think Reynaldo Lopez was a very underrated ad for them, gives them more depth. Braves overall, to me, just feel like the deeper team should win the division.
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, as the Mets fan here, being the niche content creator, I know this Braves team pretty well. They're unbelievably talented. Yeah, I would be fairly surprised if they don't win the division. Yeah. However, when we look at the odds through here at BetUS, what do we currently have the Braves at? You said minus
245.
And so the Phillies are at what?
Plus 300.
Plus 300. If you're, again, a betting man or woman, I would absolutely look at the Phillies here between the two and sprinkle some dollars. Why? Because the odds are just so far greater. Again, the Braves, we know, have been pretty much a lock and guaranteed that you expect to win the division. But what we can't predict are inevitable injuries that, of course, happen throughout the season and, of course, hot streaks. This Phillies team has all the weapons. They went toe-to-toe with Atlanta plenty when it's mattered most.
Yes.
Can they start to do that more in the regular season? Can they get on a little bit more of a run than what we've seen in years prior to the regular season? If they can do that, at plus 300 odds, I don't hate that whatsoever. And I could argue I like that equally as much as the Braves did at the minus 245, where you're investing a lot more for your payout.
It's two different questions. It's who's going to win the division, and it's which odds do you like the most. Like if you were going to throw $10, $100 down on a team, it's just $10, $20 on the Phillies. Plus 300 is much better payout than minus 245, and that's the way to go. And if you're looking to bet and you're actually looking to make something, if you're okay maybe risking the $10, because the Philadelphia Phillies, there is a path. There is a path. Again, things have to happen. Things have to go bad for the Braves, and things have to go right for the Phillies for this to go wrong. And I know you can say that about everyone, but just the degrees of going right and going wrong are much more, we'll call it severe in the nature of the good and the bad. But the Phillies for plus 300. I'm good with that. Let's go to the Central. Last night we neglected the Central. It was a bad job by us. We didn't get to the Central until like the hour and 10 mark. We're not going to make that mistake again tonight because we respect you, NL Central and AL Central fans. Let's go NL Central first because there's an interesting conversation to be had here. The Cubs are the favorite right now at plus 175. Cardinals are right behind them at plus 185, which has been a shift. That's been a shift since the Cody Bellinger signing. And then you have the Brewers, the Reds at plus 350. It's tight. Who do you like? Who would you bet on? Robbie, let's go to you first.
I'm going to go with a value pick and go with the Reds. I think that is, if you are, willing to, make a responsible play. I think this, yes, it is a little risky maybe because they are, obviously behind some of these other teams. But to me, the Reds, I love the upside of them. I love the good young pitching that they have. And Frankie Montas is a bounce back candidate. Let's see how that shoulder is doing over a full season. But there's a lot of upside with the pitching. Offense, they got so many good young bats. I'm a big Matt McClain fan.
Yeah.
Even though, sure, no Noel V. Marte, but you still have a lot of 20 more infielders that you can go to in there. A lot of good bats. Ellie De La Cruz, electric. I like the Reds. I think it's a good value play.
Yeah, the Cincinnati Reds are going to be an absolute wagon this year. They're going to be one of my favorite teams out of the NL for sure. But I'm taking the Chicago Cubs because the Reds still have plenty more proving to do. I think the Cubs are a more established team currently. I love their offseason acquisitions. Not only bringing Bellinger back, but I think Shota Imanaga was such a nice pickup that was slept on by many when he's a very talented pitcher. Of course, we have to see how he transitions to the MLB level. But I really like what the Cubs did this offseason. The Reds, of course, are banking a lot more on in-house talent, which is not a bad thing when you look at their young stars, headlined by guys like Ellie De La Cruz, of course, Spencer Steer. There's so many great pieces there. But I like the Cubs. But picking between the two, I'm going to go with, in my opinion, the safer bet there. And what are their current odds again?
Plus 175.
Plus 175. That's actually pretty nice, all things considered. And yes, it's a division that's a toss-up. but still one that I feel fairly strongly the Cubs are going to come out winners.
It's between, to me, it's between the Cubs and the Reds. Brewers are taking a step back. What odds can I get on Oliver Marmol being fired by the All-Star break?
There we go.
That's what I want. I want those odds because this Cardinals team, when it underperforms because there's no leadership from that man and because they didn't do enough this offseason, they're going to clean house at the management level. Anyway, that's a whole different rant. If you want more of that, go to about the 1 hour and 15-minute mark to last night's stream. I'm with you on the Cubs for the winner, but I do like the idea of the Reds for the value pick. I might, if you're going to bet $100 on the situation, bet more with the Cubs, but throw an extra 10 or 20 down on the Reds because if they end up doing it, it's a good way to hedge your bets.
Reds will be right in that playoff mix for
yes.
sure. So that's really why I'm thinking, it's not a bad bet. The Cubs, they have a vibe to them this year that I like.
Yep. AL Central, you've got Twins minus 115. Are we that confident in the Twins at minus 115? Then the Guardians at plus 350 and the Tigers at plus 350. I would not touch the Twins here. I would not touch the Twins.
You took the words out of my mouth.
I can't do it. But I don't know who to go to. Like, I think Cleveland's going to pitch. I think Detroit is on the rise. I don't know if Cleveland's going to hit. This is a tough one. I need to hear what you guys have to say before I can make my pick here because I need to be sold in one way or another. Tyler, let's go to you.
I would honestly suggest just standing by and refraining entirely.
Pause,
if I'm being completely blunt. But for the sake of if you're going to go out your way, if you are a fan of one of these teams in particular, yes, the Twins have, I think, the most talent, the most upside there for sure. But it's just such a toss-up in that division in particular.
Yes.
And then you look at right below them, too, that, you can definitely make arguments one way or the other. Yeah, it's hard for me to commit with the Twins there because every year I feel like we have the same conversation with the Minnesota Twins where we expect them to do better what they end up doing. I will give them credit where credit's due, though. So for people that are on the Twins train, they did finally get over the hump on winning a playoff game. They were able to at least get finally some juice, momentum that they can really bounce off of and bank on heading into this regular season. So if you want to look at the experience aspect of it all, I like that. But the Cleveland Guardians, Robbie, what do you have to say about them?
They're no match for the Tigers, in my opinion.
Okay.
I'm very confident with the Tigers. That will shoot me in the foot probably. No, I really like the Tigers. I like the addition of all these veteran guys in the offseason, like Kana, Flaherty, Maeda, and then in the bullpen, guys like Chafin, right? I really like that mix of veterans going with all these young guys like they have, like Torkelson and Green, and Keith is coming up. It's a good mix of guys, and the big piece for me is Skubal.
Yes.
Health-wise, that should be a question mark, but the talent through the roof, in my opinion. That guy's an underrated Cy Young contender, in my opinion. I think the Tigers have a good mix of everything. I think they put it together this year, and they go after that Central. Yeah.
I mean, I do think the Twins can win it, so don't get me wrong. Like, the Twins are definitely one of the teams to consider here, not discounting them. But if I wanted to make money on this, I think I'm leaning Cleveland or Detroit. If I had to pick one, Robbie, I think I'm going with what you said. I'm just worried Cleveland's not going to be able to hit enough. Right. They will pitch, and they may be one of the best pitching teams. We may fast forward to October, and they may be the number one pitching staff in baseball. But they're hitting, the slugging, the run scored could be bottom 5 of the league, and that'll kill them, especially going up against. I mean, there's 2 other good teams in this division. Let's go to we got the Central. Let's go to the National League West. We're going to go NL West because there's really not a lot of suspense here. The AL West has some more suspense, so we're going to go NL West first with the Dodgers. Obviously, are the overwhelming favorite here at minus 450. The Diamondbacks are next at plus 750. The gap is massive. There's no reason to not go Dodgers. Even at the minus 450, there's
if they deal with multiple injuries of significance,
so
you
many,
still like their odds a lot.
So many contingency plans in place, and that's basically what they did. This is what happens when you fail in October and you are a team like the Dodgers. We got to get better mode is different than everybody else's. Yes. We got to get better mode. And this is what happened. So I blame this on the Diamondbacks because the Diamondbacks had to get all fancy and cute and sweep the Dodgers in October. If you could have let the Dodgers win one stinking game, Maybe Ohtani would be a Blue Jay. This all gets back to Arizona. They stole my catcher.
Would be a Met.
They
You
stole.
never know.
They stole my catcher. They stole my left fielder. They played a hand in the Ohtani thing. Can't do it. It's Dodgers all day.
Yeah, I agree.
Dodgers. On to the next.
Yeah,
that's all I got.
Yeah, they're so deep all over the place. Postseason though,
that
could be a different conversation.
Of course, and that's why we're not having it.
And we will get to that in just a second. We will get to the postseason.
We'll go to the pennants in the World
we'll
Series.
we'll see if the Dodgers can carry through. Okay, so now a little bit more of an interesting one is the American League, because is it the Astros or the Rangers going to compete, or the Mariners? I mean, you have three teams that I think really have a legit case to take this thing. In the American League West, you've got, oh no, those are the pennants. In the American League West, the Astros are even money. The Rangers are plus 250. The Mariners are plus 280. It's tight there. I'm leaning Astros because, again, I said last night, I think they're going to fix that home and road thing. I think they could win 100 games. I don't like Texas's pitching. Seattle's bats, I have too many question marks in that lineup. So I'm on Houston here. How about you guys?
Yeah, I agree. I think Houston, they had some bumps last year, right? But in the end, they figured it out, right? And they found a way to win that division. And to me, that team is just so good year in, year out. Offense, so many great bats. And that was with a bad Jose Abreu last year.
Right.
I think he's going to have a better year this year. Pitching-wise, sure, maybe a little short on some depth, but they tend to figure it out. They get so much out of their minor leaguers when they come up. And bullpen's fantastic. I like the Astros.
I have the same feeling about the Astros pretty much like I do the Atlanta Braves. You know, they're 1A, 1B in the sense of just this organization that you know is going to have continued success every single year. And let's not forget, the Astros have separated themselves from everyone else. This is a dynasty-type organization, what they've been able to do. Again, they weren't far from having themselves another, World Series run last year, only faltering to those Texas Rangers. And unlike the Texas Rangers, the Astros have had this system in place for a number of years. I think Jorge Espada, as we spoke on recently over the past night or two, is going to do so well with them as manager. Yeah. This feels like a fairly nice lock for the Astros. Again, not to down the Mariners or the Rangers, but there's far more uncertainty in specific areas for them. And again, that track record says it all. They're still in their prime. I'm taking Houston.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Let's stay in the American League for this part. Let's talk about the AL pennant. So we've got Houston. We've got some different takes on the Central. The American League East, I think we're all right now leaning Orioles. So for the American League pennant, Robbie, kick us off. The Astros are plus 450. The Rangers are plus 550. O's plus 650. The Yankees are plus 450, but probably sliding back. So stay away from that right now. The Blue Jays are plus 900. Mariners are plus 900. After that, it gets a little sketchy. Do you have a pennant winner in mind?
Here's why my Red Sox. I'm kidding. No, I think the Orioles getting Corbin Burns. That's a legit guy at the top there, mixing some youth like Grayson Rodriguez. I'm a big fan of that guy. All the young bats that they have, along with the mix of veterans they have. Kimbrel, sure, he gives me heart attacks still, going back to 2018, but the bullpen should be fine. I like the Orioles in that American League. Yeah. I think because in the postseason, you look at game one, who's starting? Game two, who's starting there? Game three, right? And I think the Orioles line up well against the other teams. If the Mariners sneak in, I think they could be pretty scary with the pitching they have. Let's see how the offense is. But Orioles right now, top to bottom, they feel legit to me.
Yeah, the Orioles are an absolute wagon. It's so hard to go up against them. But having said that, I am slightly conflicted, only when looking at the divisions that they're coming out of. The AL East is, in my opinion, one of, if not the most difficult one currently. But with the uncertainty to Cole and with Judge, what is his health status going to be throughout the course of the season? Factoring those things into play, knowing that Tampa, they're going to be a very good team again this year. Yeah. But I don't expect them to be as good as last season, at least. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Baltimore, but it is close for me. I will say that. I think you can make a very good argument with someone like Houston where, yes, even though that they have to deal with the Rangers and the Mariners, they know how to handle them very well. You know what I mean? This is an O's team that they have all the talent. They had a great run last year. I just want to make sure that they get off to the right foot and, again, just soar the way that we know that they can in a very stacked AL East division.
I mean, great arguments, compelling arguments that you both make, but I'm sorry, you're both wrong. I'm kidding. I love you guys.
So my Red Sox.
It's Boston all the way. Hammer the Red Sox. So I think that this Houston Astros team is going to. I'm taking the Astros, I know they're the favorite at plus 450.
Yeah.
I think that last year's team, it was very fluky. You have so much leadership, some, the veteran, the playoff veteran experience here. There's so much in pushing me towards Houston that I have to go with the Astros, which is going to set up for one hell of a World Series.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that in a second. But give me the Houston Astros. The Orioles, the thing I worry about with Baltimore. So I'm not making this decision with any thought in mind of any trades or any additions. So I'm going forward saying, okay, the Orioles team that they have right now, that's what they're going to ride with. Now, that may change because if they look like they compare themselves with Houston and Houston is by far and away better, then you may see them go trade for an available pitcher. But stacking up the lineups, I think Houston's got one more run in them before Altuve is too old and Bregman is gone and Alvarez suffers a season-ending injury. I'm not rooting for that, but the man's health does worry me. So I'm gonna go Houston for the American League pennant. That's my feel. National League pennant. And Jordan Alvarez, please, for the love of God, don't get hurt. But I do worry about your health. So National League pennant winner.
Oh, this is quick.
Well, here's the thing. It has constantly been a bugaboo for the Dodgers. Is it going to be any different this year? The Braves are plus 250. The Dodgers are plus 200. Like, that's tight. Dodgers 200, Braves 250, and then the Phillies at plus 700, and everybody else is just a value pick at that point. Are you going Dodgers? Are you going Braves? Anybody going to surprise me up here?
I'm sorry, what are the odds again?
Braves are plus 250, Dodgers are plus 200. And then the
200.
plus 250, what did I say?
No.
Oh, I got it right?
You're
yeah, and then plus 700, and then plus 700 for the Phillies.
Oh, okay.
And
The
Mets are
value
plus
play.
16.
The value
we
play
go.
is the Phillies at 700. That's a nice value play. So
Very good
$20
value play.
down there, you could do that. Philly, if things go right, if there's a path. But Dodgers or Braves, plus 250, plus 200.
That's such a coin flip, in my opinion. I thought, initially, again, I was like Dodgers right away, but we all know how good the Braves are. And,
Right.
We all know their ability to, especially when they go toe-to-toe with LA. They've had a lot of success. However, a lot of that success did come when Freddie Freeman was in Atlanta and not in LA. So
Yeah.
looking at that, looking at all the pieces that they did, spending $1.2 billion in an offseason, this feels like things may have finally turned the corner for the Dodgers like they were hoping. I'm going to take them as the pennant winner.
So you're going to go Dodgers.
Yes.
As of right now, in this moment, these are not set in stone for me, even going with the Orioles as well. That's how I'm feeling today. I could wake up different tomorrow. I like the Braves right now. I like the Braves. I think the Dodgers, I don't know. Glasnow looked great today, but I don't know how he's going to be when it comes to that time. And, of course, you could say the same thing when it comes to, Chris Sale, too. But Strider, I think, is going to be nastier this year, right? Max Fried, he's got his health concerns too, but when he's good, right? And I don't know, Glasnow's just had too many injuries to me where he worries me there. Yamamoto, at the end of the day, it's a question mark, right? Who knows? Let's see how he does in the second half.
Yeah.
But me right now, I like the makeup of the Braves. That's the key word for me, the makeup.
Yeah.
I think they're just a very tight unit, and adding someone like Sale, excuse my Red Sox bias, but the guy's a gamer.
Yeah.
And I think him being in a lower role, I think is going to be good for that team. I just like the Braves all the way around. Maybe you need to add something for the bullpen, but I'm going Braves.
I'll go Dodgers. I think that there is so much here. I mean, the Braves, Robbie just made it. There's an argument for the Braves. I'm going to go with the Dodgers because I think they have so much. Even if Glasnow goes down, they've got reinforcements and a ton of it. They last year felt that. They felt this is what happens when you don't have veteran depth. This is what happens when you don't have enough pieces. So what did they do? They went out and got a ton of pieces. They went out and got some of the best pieces. So their reaction to last year was to go over the top, and I think it's going to carry them through to the World Series. So with that said, let's get to the World Series odds, and we'll make some calls here on the betting line. So Dodgers are plus 350. Braves are plus 450. Houston is plus 900. Those are the only three teams that currently sit at that plus 1,000 or better situation. Would you guys can see the lines right here. Is there anybody else you would throw into the conversation, or is it maybe the Orioles? The Orioles right now sit at plus 1,400. So maybe that's a good play. Where do you see any value plays here before we get to maybe like picking our actual winners? We've also got the Phillies at plus 1,400, Rangers plus 1,200, Yankees are plus 1,000, but I think they're sliding back. Padres plus 4,000, Jays plus 2,000. Anything?
I think definitely when you look at value plays, I'm looking at the Philadelphia Phillies and Texas Rangers right away.
Yeah.
Because even though that the Rangers, again, I personally expect them to have a slow start to 2024. I think that they're going to have an underwhelming first half, but it doesn't mean that they won't pick it up big time in the second half. And again, do what they need to do to have a run. Same thing with the Philadelphia Phillies. Just because you're winning just because you're let's put it this way, just because you might not be the best team in your division doesn't mean that you should be completely counted out when it comes to World Series. So if you're trying to look at value plays especially, why not consider the reigning champs, right? Why not even consider the Arizona Diamondbacks that are currently at what? What do we have, Jim? What are we looking at?
Plus 3,500.
Plus 3,500 for the team that just went to the World Series last season.
Yep.
We're just going to ignore that, right? And again, if you're looking for value plays, especially you want to sprinkle a little bit and you're looking to hit big without having dropped too much, that is where you're going to be favored especially.
Yeah.
But if you want to be as rational as possible, then again, that's where you go back to the tippity top of the list where we find ourselves at.
Robbie?
I think a good value there's the Orioles. Plus 1,400.
Sure.
I think that's a good value, right? And you mentioned it. And you mentioned it. The trade deadline, they got a whole ton of prospects. They wanted to go make a deal. And if they're in that driver's seat, they're 5 to 10 games ahead of everyone else, and they need to make two more improvements. They can go do that. I think the Orioles are in a great position, and that to me is a pretty good value.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I like the Orioles as plus 1,400. I think that that's pretty solid. They feel like the team. Baltimore, Philly. It's pretty cut and dry. It's right in front of you there.
But then I will also say too. Sorry, just one more thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, sometimes it is best to play it safe, and going with the Braves or Dodgers.
Well,
let's do it. Call at all.
So let's do it. What? Give me your World Series winner out of this group.
I'll let you go.
Okay, pass it down. I don't want to deal with it. Just give it the.
Fine, I'll go. You want me to go?
Go.
All right.
30 seconds. You have 30 seconds to make your argument. It's an elevator pitch. 30 seconds.
I like fun.
Okay.
And I think the Orioles at plus 14, good mix of veterans, good mix of talent or young talent.
Okay.
They got the prospects to deal. Mike Elias, he did it with the Astros before.
All right.
I think he's ready for the Orioles now.
All right. Tyler, again, elevator pitch. It's a 30-story building, so you got 30 seconds.
Okay.
Who are you going with?
LA Dodgers going to be that basic because if now is in the year, when is it?
Right.
Enlighten me. When is it? You know? But this is every year is so make or break for them in the sense of the disappointment level is going to be through the roof if they don't do anything short of winning the actual thing. They have a Mickey Mouse ring on their resume. That isn't a big flex. Yeah, I think Dodgers fans probably know that too.
Yeah.
Actually win it for real this time.
Okay.
This has to be the year.
I'm also going to go with the Dodgers, and I don't think it's basic. I think
it's basic because they're the clear favorites, but there's rational reasons why they're the clear favorites.
I don't want to try to overthink the room and then be that guy who's like, haha, see, they didn't win. Well, obviously they weren't going to win. No, I want to get it right. And look, there's going to be some uphill challenges. Dave Roberts, Dodgers fans know it's a mess. Can he get this team through?
That's a great question. Dave Roberts is their biggest issue.
Yeah, he really
is. If they
is.
don't get far, it's going to be because of Dave. So
give me the Dodgers. I think they will overcome it no matter what, somehow, some way. Dodgers over the Astros in what will be an amazing World Series. And speaking of amazing, this has been amazing doing this with you guys here at the BetUS house. Those of you that are watching, make sure in our description below is the link to check them out. All of these futures we've been talking about the last couple of days, you can get a bonus, a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,500, minimum $100 on the deposit. And look, we've talked about some really, it's easy. It's easy, smart action to get into. But I've had a ton of fun here with you guys as we are, again, wrapping up our time here at the BetUS house. There will still be some more content from our time here, so don't think that that's going to disappear.
Correct. You will be seeing content in the coming days from our respective channels from us being here as well.
Yep. But, guys, it's been a blast.
It's been awesome.
Yes.
I've really enjoyed this.
Yeah, it's been an absolute treat. And final thing I'll say, too, is it's been awesome with the BetUS house, but honestly, and I'm not even just saying this because, they're our sponsor, they have some really, really good odds here. Like
Yes.
some of these bets are just absolutely tremendous where you'd be truly silly not to take if you are an active sports bettor. You can comfortably do this. You're doing it responsibly. There's so many to hammer that we have broken down for you guys over the past couple days. If you haven't checked out the previous shows, please make sure you do exactly that, and make sure to let us know, too, your predictions down below. A lot of you guys are going to be watching this on replay, so we want to see who you have for your division winners, your World Series picks, and everything in between.
Robbie, any final words?
It's been awesome being here. You know, my ginger self got to get a bit of a tan as well. Maybe not really a tan, but a little color. So that's nice. But no, it's always great spending time with you guys. Every year we find a way to do something together, and we're hoping for bigger things even next year. You know, and to just keep going. And we've been growing together for the last few years now. So you know, to be here together and to have this opportunity, it's been fantastic. I couldn't be more blessed, to be honest with you.
Yes, no, likewise. Again, shout out to BetUS for all their support.
Yes.
Shout out to Jim, of course, at Ballcap Sports. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button for him. Robbie Hyde, same applies here at WardyNYM for my Mets and baseball fans. Appreciate you guys so much, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
We're out of here, guys. Have a good one.